Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Trails is the latest game released at Target Big Box Store, and I really like to support this idea of games coming into these stores. Usually smaller and more streamlined, and games I can play with my kids. Now, I do have the Parks game. I haven't played it yet, so I can't really compare it to Parks. But Trails is a game that we played and we actually enjoyed quite a bit. It's very simple, very resource management, you know, on the very much lighter end of things, but it's a very beautiful game with that. I wish the components, I might upgrade mine a little bit with some upgraded components because they're just cubes. I think I'd like to have something different in the box. I can definitely accomplish that on my own. I understand they're trying to make a budget title here that can be sold at Target and eventually probably other places. But it's a very beautiful game. Very simple as you're going through, but I saw a wide range of points based on the decisions that we were making. So I know decisions are very, very important because your first inclination is go one space, and kind of hit everything, but that's not really going to work out well for you as the other person is going to be going higher. Now, hitting that bear, that wildlife, was something that I was doing a lot, and I like the extra actions that brings you. And you really need to plan for the cards that are going to be out. Now, if you're neck and neck with somebody, and they're getting that card right before you every single time, maybe use your canteen and kind of bust ahead of them and get the card that you want, because the next card that comes up, you may have all these cubes and you can't buy anything when you get to the trail end. And that doesn't really help you out either. So it does give you some interesting decisions. My opponent was using, in one game, the canteen a lot more than I was, to their benefit, and perhaps maybe I should have done that a little bit more, like go after what I needed more than just trying to maximize and get everything. I feel like that's not the best strategy to do in this game. Beautiful game. Components are great. This is something I love to see in Target. It's an actual board game introducing resource management and getting those and getting the victory point cards. And those cards have little things on them to trigger other scoring. It's a little bit more complicated. It's very nice to see, and a very beautiful package. And because it's a trail thing, you can play with anybody. It's not going to offend anybody. Very great addition to our library, and I'm happy to have Trails in it. Absolute keeper. Here is Trails, which is a Target exclusive game, at least at this time, from the makers of Parks Keymaster game. So when you open it up, you're going to get some really nice pieces in here. I'll pull everything out. We take a look, but you can see it's pretty packed inside the box. So the components are pretty standard. You're going to get some boards that you'll put out. They're double-sided. I got a little picture here of a park, which is kind of neat. I'm going to have a bear meeple and some dice and the workers that people will have, and some chits here that you're going to have as you go through, and some regular cubes. The cards are okay quality. They have some really nice artwork on them, etc. I kind of like the way they look. They're all drawings, and they look very nice. The cards are linen finished and feel really good. Everything is very nice. For a mass market game, I feel like I didn't pay very much for it. Excellent job on the components. So here are the rules for Trails. Very, very picturesque picture there. You can have the components over here with an overview of the game and with the contents, kind of like a table of contents you have here, and then how to set up and the game end. Here's a picture of setup, which is really, really nice, and then what you do on your turn. I leave this open. It really was helpful when I was first learning the game. And then it goes through a couple of the other rules that you're going to have, some things that might be a little bizarre, the game end, and how to score, and some commonly asked questions, and then all the badges in here will have something that you can look at and kind of understand what they do, and then they give you a list of the artists. Very good rule book. I was able to pick this up. It's mass market, so it's intended to be easy, but I had no problems whatsoever. So every player's going to start out with a canteen that will be full, and they'll have a little worker here on the space. It's very easy to play the game. On your turn, you can move 1 or 2 spaces. Very simple, and you take the action at the space. So these actions right here will give you just a color cube of whatever space you're on. So very, very simple. You're good on that space, you get one of the color cubes. If I stop here on the green one, I get a green spot. If it's a brown, I get an acorn, etc. Very, very simple. This one allows you, if you were to stop here, allows you to turn in 1 cube of a color to gain 2 of another color. So very simple. You can trade it in. Try to get what you want that you want to do. This one right here, if you're able to stop here, for 1 cube, any color, you just give it up to the supply, and you can take 2 cards off of the top of the deck, and you can choose which one you want. Now, these cards happen to be the same. They each give you a point, and each give you a bird. But as you can see, this one gives you no points, but 2 birds. And this one gives you 2 points and just 1 bird. So they're different combinations. So when you draw 2, you decide which one you want to keep. This will come in your scoring pile. The other one goes in the discard pile. And that's how that place works right here. Now, when you get to the end, it's going to be a little different. First of all, the sun is going to move down a spot. And this is going to be the game end of the trigger. So every time this moves down, you're going to flip over the tile that it passes by. So if it was to move here, then these would be flipped over. And each of these give you a different action. So instead of getting 1, I'm getting 2. Instead of paying for a picture, I get a free picture. When the sun gets all the way down, then the game will end. But one of the other tricks about being on the end space, let's go back up here and reset, is you can turn these in for these cards. So this is kind of what you're doing to score points in the game. If I give up 4 stones, 4 of the gray ones, I get victory points equal to your worth the most points. So whatever of the badges that you have that are worth the most. If you look at this one, the recycling, for 2 stones, a leaf, and an acorn, I get 4 victory points, and I can immediately trade 1 cube in for 2 of the same. So those will do different things. When you come down to this end, so once you get down here, you'll turn yourself around, and you'll start moving down this way as the game progresses. When you get all the way down to this end, now I have these accessible to me. If somebody were to buy one of these, then simply a new one would come out to refill. There's always 2 available every time that you're there. Once the sun gets all the way down here, all of these have been flipped over, and somebody returns. So these would all be flipped over, signifying nighttime. Everybody takes their final turn, and then you will score points for all of these. Whoever has the most birds, remember how we were collecting birds for no reason? Whoever has the most gets an extra 4 victory points. Whoever has the most points is the winner. The only little caveat is you're going to have this bear that will be out. And if you land on this bear, he does something very special, because you can roll the dice. And when you roll the dice, whatever location, so these will correspond with locations, the bear will move to that location, and then you can take that action also. So let me give you an example here. So let's say I moved here, and I got 2 acorns, because that's my turn, but the bear is there. So I rolled the dice, and he went to the pitcher location. So the bear would then move to the pitcher location, and I would also get to do that location, which is this. So I would get to draw 2 cards, and I would get to keep one. So I'm going to keep the one worth 2 points, with 1 bird, and this would go into my scoring pile. So very easy to do. And that's how you play Trails. Very simple. Who should buy this game? This is a very light game, so if you play gateway games with people, or you like lighter fare, this will do it. Maybe a family game, and you like that kind of walking through a trail kind of aspect to it, I think that it'll be very beneficial to people. I think this game is going to, I hope this game sells a lot, because it's a really cute game. It's got some different mechanics in it than the same Monopoly bullcrap that you see all the time. Something very fun here. Looks good, has a little bit of educational about taking care of the environment in it. This could be a really good hit for them, and I hope that it strikes the chord. People who maybe looked at $45 parks on the board game, most people maybe $20 they want to spend on a board game. Non-gamers like, I don't want to spend that much. I'll go with Trails instead of Parks, and I'm going to have a very unique experience. I think that they'll enjoy greatly. So Trails can be that streamlined version. I think might be a hit if I can get to the table with some people, and same for you. Keeper for us.